Hello and welcome to Santa Cruz Currents.
We are your hosts, Jasiri Jenkins-Glenn
and Lynn Dunton. Santa Cruz Currents is a volunteer-run and created news talk show,
providing information about local activities and news in Santa Cruz County.
Today we're going to take a look at the Opera on the Beach in Capitola,
and have a talk with Larry Laurent, a board member at CTV.
And then we're going to have an update on tech in Santa Cruz and a look at what Santa Cruz is putting on YouTube.
But first, the news. In October of 2013, the Santa Cruz City Council directed Water Department staff to develop a plan to engage the community in an examination of water supply issues. From that direction, the Water Supply Advisory Committee, WASAC, was born. 14 members on the committee representing broad community interests, including the environment, business, education, and the Water Commission, started their work in April of 2014. On this photo, 12 members are present, with Peter Beckman and Charlie Krutman being absent. The second photo includes staff and the director of the Water Department, Rosemary Menard. The scope of work covered 3 phases, which included learning about our community's water supply and demand, as well as opportunities to improve the reliability of Santa Cruz's water supply, exploring possible solutions in detail, and developing a list of recommendations to solve the supply and demand gap. On October 2, 2015, the committee concluded its work and will deliver the final recommendations to the City Council on October 27th. The strategy is twofold: a water transfer plan and aquifer recharge using injection wells. The water transfer strategy is also known as in lieu recharge, since neighboring districts will use transferred water in lieu of pumping their wells. Several WASAC members wanted to include a backup strategy in the recommendations, and the WASAC settled on recommending a backup strategy: recycled wastewater. A backup to the backup would be desalination. After the October delivery of the draft, the City Council will hold a joint session with the Water Commission on November 10th. Then, on November 24th, the Council is planning to adopt the plan. For more information, see santacruzwatersupply.com. In expectation of a 100-year El Niño storm, the City of Santa Cruz is offering emergency preparedness tips and an informational fair. The City of Santa Cruz is scheduled to host the free Emergency Preparedness Fair for residents on November 21st, 2015, from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Santa Cruz Civic Auditorium located at 307 Church Street. The fair will include explanations of flood maps recently released by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA, sandbag use demonstrations, and information from the American Red Cross. In addition to this important information, Santa Cruz fire stations will offer free empty sandbags, and select hardware stores will provide free sand. El Niño is caused by warmer than normal Pacific Ocean conditions, which leads to more rainfall. Similar to the 2011 flooding incident in the county, the high water levels expected lead to safety concerns related to mudslides, power outages, closed roads, and flooding. Santa Cruz County has paid considerable attention to the vulnerable home and business locations. Persons residing in these areas are admonished to gather sandbags and learn to use them properly. Attending the upcoming Emergency Preparedness Fair is not the only way you can help yourself and others if a serious storm occurs. If you live near a catch basin, be sure to keep it clean to avoid debris backup. Additionally, Public Works spokesperson Janice Biscard has published informational emergency preparedness web pages and downloadable brochures to help you protect yourself and your family in the area where you live. Open Streets on West Cliff Drive was the third year of an open streets in Santa Cruz. Over 11,000 walkers, bike riders, skaters, musicians, and dancers enjoyed a car-free West Cliff Drive. There were many activities for children and adults. emphasizing sustainable transportation, health, community, and the thriving marine life of Monterey Bay.
Santa Cruz is a culturally diverse community.
Why don't we take a look at the opera on the beach of Capitola?
Non mi degno di pugnarti così pretende da me fuggire sia me non mi degno così pretendi da me fuggire sia me abiti se vuoi morire.
Do you see that splendid castle in the distance? That is my home. And there, my dear Zerlina, we will be married.
La girarem la mano, la mi dirai di sì, ed in are lontano partiam ben mio da qui.
And now for some sweet music of seduction.
Ahimè, cos'hai? Il cielo non gesto mai. Ti caccia vita, è l'ultimo momento. No, mio don, vi prego, vai lontano da me.
Larry, thank you for being here today on Santa Cruz Currents. You're a member of CTV's board. You're also the assistant to the city manager of Capitola, and you were also the one that brought to Santa Cruz Currents the idea of taping the Don Giovanni opera at Capitola Beach. Can you tell us how that came about?
Well, it came about, the Bayshore Lyric Opera Company at one point was based in Capitola, and they've kept a relationship with our mayor, Dennis Norton, and he brought it to the Art and Cultural Commission to see if it's something they wanted to sponsor. And we thought it'd be a really interesting change from what we normally do. The commission was looking to get more into the fine arts, and we thought this was a good way to get in there. So he was able to secure an anonymous donation, and that's what brought him out here.
Okay. Are they going to be doing this in the future?
We hope so. We have them tentatively scheduled for next September. They're planning on next year's rotation would have Otello being out there. What we liked about this year was the juxtaposition between traditional opera and then the beach, and we had kids with surfboards, and it was really an interesting show. It turned out very well.
Yeah, the video was showed that everyone seeming to have even a very good time, even though it was so hot out there with the particular weather that we were in.
It was definitely warm, and what was fun was watching people that didn't know what was going on. They'd turn the corner, and you see the smiles on their face as they saw what was going on, and maybe they didn't stay for the whole event, but they'd stay for 15, 20 minutes, and I think it really worked out well. We got a lot of compliments.
It was a very unique and a very unusual location to find opera.
That's great.
Which is not something that it sort of fits in with Santa Cruz and its mystique, to say the least.
Good.
Now, you're the assistant to the city manager there in Capitola.
That's
Can you
correct.
tell us a little bit about your job?
My job has a lot of different functions. One of the main functions is human resources. I also involved in negotiations, as well as I help manage some of the franchise agreements, garbage and recycling. But one of my favorite things is working with the Art and Cultural Commission, as well as the museum. Those are two very popular organizations within the city, and you get to really do positive things. So you're not sitting in the office all the time. You get to go out and attend the events and help plan them and interact with the public.
And part of that job is being on the board of CTV?
Yeah, that's correct.
How long have you been on the board at this point?
I started, I believe, in February. One of the reasons we didn't have a representative for a while, and I had worked with Community TV as helping with the broadcast of our council meetings, and we realized how important it was. We had to keep it going because that's how we can interact with our citizens who maybe can't make it to a meeting. We want to make sure people have that information. So it was thought that I might be a good fit for that, and I hope so far I am.
What kind of challenges have you experienced being on the CTV's board?
Well, one of the major challenges with community television right now is the changing in the funding. They're having to find new funding sources because they can no longer use the funds the way they used to use them. So, and I've seen that from our side. There were folks that had worked for Community TV that, because of the way it worked, they couldn't be there anymore. So that's one of the primary challenges. But one of the moving forward, it really looks like a positive change. Finding new ways to get Community TV's message out there.
Okay. We're going to be moving soon into a new facility. Can you give us any background on how that's going or what's happening with that?
Well, I think right now it's in the construction phase. I'm not sure the exact time, but one of the hopes is that I'll be able to offer some assistance with I've been in information technology for about 20 years. So when those sort of issues come to the board, hopefully I'll be able to add some value.
Okay, great. Also, I hear recently there in Capitola that they've added body cams to the police. Can you tell us a little bit about that, since that's one of the issues that's really come up nationally?
Yes,
at least?
absolutely. Earlier this year, the Capitola Police Department secured a grant to help fund purchase of about 20 body-worn cameras and half a dozen or so in-vehicle cameras. And the key is to be transparent. We want to make sure that what happens on the street, everyone has access to. We know that nothing's being misrepresented on either side, and we hope that the cameras will help do that. I don't know if the other agencies are there yet, but I know so far it's been a very positive response from both the internal staff and as well as the public.
Is it much of a, with all that videotape and footage that you're getting, what kind of an IT issue do you come into?
Well, part where I helped fit in was we were able to figure out a full contract from the company that we dealt with, offers support, hardware, the whole thing for 5 years, because it is definitely, I said, with video, you add a couple zeros to all your data, and you have a lot more of it. And one of the big things with this is the policies that you use to when you can use video and when you have to save video. That's the most, everyone can take video. It's make sure you have it when you need it.
So how much disk space are you taking up these days?
The numbers were probably, being a small agency, we have a 13-month retention schedule, so we're not even there yet, but I believe we're in about the 3 terabyte. They do a good job of compressing, but we don't anticipate running out for a little while, but we have the ability to add more capacity.
Well, Larry, I want to thank you for coming and talking with us today here at Santa Cruz Currents.
Thank
it's
you for
been
having
interesting
me.
talking to you, and I hope that being on our board is a helpful process for you and that you enjoy it.
Thank you. I sure do, and I hope I can help out.
Now let's focus our attention on our monthly Tech Beat with Sarah Eisenberg.
I'm Sarah Eisenberg, founder and publisher of Santa Cruz Tech Beat. Santa Cruz Tech Beat is the go-to source for all things tech in our region, from comprehensive news about local tech business developments and startups, to thought leadership from our local tech ecosystem. Plus, Santa Cruz Tech Beat has job and event listings, resources, and more. I'm here to tell you about some current developments in the local tech scene that you need to know. Nonprofits need to market their message, just like other businesses. However, they often lack the time, skills, and funds to create a mobile app to do this. That's where Santa Cruz startup Mobile Ranger comes in. Mobile Ranger helps nonprofits create their own content within a self-guided mobile app. In one such collaboration, using information and photographs from the Coastal Watershed Council, Mobile Ranger created an 8-stop walking tour along the San Lorenzo River. Mobile Ranger aspires to be the go-to resource for the natural and human history of places. Their public launch party is October 27th at the Museum of Art and History in Santa Cruz. Despite forecasts that El Niño rains are coming this winter, using less water is a concern for all of us in California, and especially here on the Central Coast. Calliope Water Works, a Santa Cruz startup, is making the first whole house water controller to help households reduce water usage by half without changing landscaping or lifestyle. Calliope's product tells you how and when you're using water, so you can track and budget your usage. Calliope recently came out of stealth mode at TechCrunch Disrupt in San Francisco last month, and is currently in a public beta test phase. Talking about water, soaring costs for everything related to agriculture, including water, are some of the factors driving the emerging local ag tech industry. Ag tech startups are popping up throughout our region, which is quickly becoming a hub for agricultural innovation. Ag tech firms in Watsonville, Scotts Valley, Salinas, and Santa Cruz include, and it's a pretty long list, impressive, include Soliculture, Sustainable Productivity Solutions, Agron, Bioenergy, Heavy Connect, NoobTrack, AgRight, Hullux, Food Origins, City Blooms, and AgTech Insight. Want to learn more? The Santa Cruz County AgTech Meetup meets on the last Wednesday of each month at Digital Nest in Watsonville. A local mobile game studio, Asylum Labs, has been accepted into the William Hill Labs Accelerator and is now in London for a month. Although not well known in the US, William Hill, I've heard, is a household name in the UK and Europe. Asylum was one of only 7 startups accepted to the prestigious accelerator out of 250 applicants. Way to go, Asylum. Asylum Labs is the developer of the social bingo game Wild Party Bingo. The game has been live for a year. What does a business curriculum look like for today's budding entrepreneurs? That's the question the new Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurial Development at UC Santa Cruz hopes to answer. The program, also known as CIED or SEED, is the latest reincarnation of UCSC Center for Entrepreneurship, previously known as C4E. Director Sue Carter, physics professor and associate dean of graduate studies, is leading the new business center. SEED plans to not only continue C4E's programs, such as the annual hackathon, but also add an entrepreneurship academy for undergraduate and graduate students to help them turn inventions into business models. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time for more news and developments from the Santa Cruz tech scene. And of course, for the latest news, jobs, and events anytime, go to santacruztechbeat.com.
Thank you, Sarah, for that great update on the Santa Cruz tech scene.
Posting to YouTube can be fun, especially if you're in Santa Cruz.
This is the Santa Cruz Currents YouTube Roundup, highlighting YouTube uploads from the Santa Cruz area. Let's jump right in with lots of dancing. From young to old, everyone's stepping to the beat, whether it's pop music or classics like Morgani. We all enjoy the outdoors and the underwater too. There's been lots of ocean activity lately, from dolphins to whales. Whoa, don't get too close. The whale's waving goodbye. And that's this week's YouTube Roundup. See more at sccurrents.org.
Wow, folks in Santa Cruz really know how to have fun, and especially that dance sequence, which I thought was incredible.
Next up, let's tune in to our ongoing feature of local, upcoming events in the area.
was so disposed.
You have been watching Santa Cruz Currents.
Local news created by and for local people.
I am Lynn Dunton.
And I am Jasiri Jenkins Glenn. Please join us again next time.